Team Love are a six-piece country folk band from Victoria who released their self-titled debut album in 2020 and have now released their second album, Now Things Aren't Coloured Rose. Songwriter and lead vocalist Ruby McGrath-Lester is here to talk about the album, which has a whole lot of feelings in it. And I want to discuss some of them. Hello, Ruby.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so great to have you to talk about this album. Or the last time we spoke was when your first album came out, and that was mid-pandemic. And the
Yeah.
band came through that time. Some did not.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's been such a reflection between the two albums, releasing one during COVID and releasing one and being able to do like an in-person launch. And even though we've not been making the most of it, we need to book some more gigs, but it is good to have that option.
Yeah, because I suppose that in 2020 you might have thought, oh, we'll wait and see what happens. But of course, even if you had waited, you would have been waiting quite a long time to release that album.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Now, the new album, which is called Now Things Aren't Coloured Rose, is a very tender collection of songs. It's very honest. Some, if not a lot of vulnerability was required, I think. And I'm guessing you did most of the songwriting, but please tell me if not.
Yeah, so most of it is me, yeah, with a song or the idea of a song and then bringing it to the band. But there's a couple, there's the one that Shaun sings on Bones, which he primarily wrote, and then Young, he came with the idea and some of the lyrics and stuff. So yeah, but most of them I would come to the band. Everyone else is welcome to, but it just works like that.
Yeah, and it does feel like it's a set of songs primarily around one person's experience, although these are universal experiences, so there's the specificity makes them universal as well. So I'm wondering when you set out, well, I'll rephrase it. Do you remember which was the first song you wrote for the album?
Yeah. I think the oldest song on the album is Sean's Bones, which he's been
Okay.
tinkering away for a long time. But I think the oldest, the first one I did is Tomorrow is a New Day, which is the opening track, I think, and also the second single we released. And yeah, listening back, I'm like, oh, this is very COVID vibes, contemplating life vibes.
Did you set out with some themes in mind, or was it that you just, yeah, you write songs when you can, and then you look at what you have and think, oh, there are a few things going on here.
Yeah, I think they kind of just, yeah, came to me across the years rather than specifically writing themes and um I think. But yeah, we did have I think we had 26 songs that we to choose from. So we were spoilt for choice. But yeah, we kind of had 26, a bunch that we had been playing, and then some newer ones. And one weekend we kind of went away to Lawn and I'm like, we're learning every single song because I want to know which ones fit. And then we did that. And then we kind of pulled back and we recorded 16 and then 11 made the album.
Okay, that's really interesting. So you worked up the 26 songs as a
Yeah.
band, and then so as you were working them up, were you starting to get a feeling for what was going to end up in the album, or was it more that you just really wanted to get to the end of that process and see what they were all like?
Yeah, probably a bit of both. Like I definitely was like, we need to try them all in case there's this one that fits better than the other. And I think um there's probably a few that were like, yeah, never going to make the cut, but I was like, let's just try. Um, but I think we already had an idea of like some that would definitely make the album. And we were pretty like democratic. I think Tom, who's on bass, is good at making like surveys and stuff. So at some stages we like did a survey to be like these songs. And I think except for a couple that we'd already decided on, there wasn't like out of the six votes, I think most was a five. So it wasn't fully
Okay.
all of us on board, but I think we're happy with what we chose.
That is a democratic process, and
Yeah.
also quite magnanimous of you, I have to say, because as the primary songwriter, you could probably put your foot down there.
Yeah. And I think the others had said that like we're Ruby, you can decide. But I think I was happy and with what we all came to anyway. So it was all worked out. No band fights.
And well, that's good.
Yeah.
Having recorded 16 though, how did you make that decision about what to lose? And are you going to keep those five as B-sides or for something like an EP or something?
Yeah, yeah. I think we are hoping to, yeah, get them out in the not too distant future and yeah, do some kind of EP with them. Um I think that we thought the ones that were left over kind of went together a bit anyway. Um so it would yeah. Yeah, we've got two of those songs too that our friend Christy, who was in Perch Creek, has done harmonica on. So we're pretty keen to we're like, think that sounds pretty good. So we're pretty keen to get them out at some stage. But yeah, sit on the album for a bit longer.
Well, I'm intrigued since you said the five that you didn't put on the album belong together. Like, what are they? Like what's the theme there?
or like maybe we're just like trying to make excuses to why they didn't make the album. But I think that they maybe some of the instruments and stuff maybe go together. I'm trying to like what are the songs that we left out? Yeah, I don't think it's like what hugely like thematic or anything, but they kind of go yeah, go together.
But it is good to have to have them there to
Yeah, so good. Yeah.
do with
Yeah.
as you will, basically.
Mhm.
But of
Yeah.
the ones that ended up on the album, I think the song that for me, at least in the initial listens, laid out some things most starkly was Our Pain, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
about your pain not being interesting and important to someone else. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering when you wrote that.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a few years old too. Um gosh, taking me back. Yeah, I think that one's they also feel like we started the process like in 2023 of like getting ready for the album, so it feels like it's been a
Yeah.
while. But yes, yeah, I think that's like yeah, a few years old. Yeah.
I'm interested in your process as a songwriter in
Mhm.
the decisions you make actually, because there's that initial stage I would think where you're purging onto the page, so to speak.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then there might be an impulse to think, oh, well, no, I don't really want to reveal that much. But
Yeah.
you had that impulse, you've pushed through it. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering for you in that process of taking the 26 songs to work them up and then choosing the songs on the album, were there moments where you were having some hesitancy?
About revealing my inner thoughts. Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I think that, yeah, you're right. Like there are some personal stuff on the album, being revealing about myself. Um, yeah, a bit hesitant, but I think also I'm just, yeah, put it out there. Why not? Be vulnerable and open.
Well, I do think it tends to work out well, right? Because it's that thing of it can seem so scary when you're on the side of having not yet revealed. And
Yeah.
then once you are brave, because it does take a lot of courage. The thing that's why I'm talking about it as well, because I think a lot of writers of all sorts can have the thought that
Hmm.
they might want to put things out there, but when you're not only the songwriter but the singer and you're standing there claiming it, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So, so I guess yeah, it's maybe does it feel liberating? I guess now that they're out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think like when I look back at the album, it seems like they're real, I'm trying like a spectrum of like relatable experiences. Like I don't think it's like necessarily like, wow, this is the most profound thing ever, but like people could maybe relate to it. So I don't know what I'm saying now, but but like yeah, I think it's yeah, shared experiences, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them are about not necessarily saying this is a good or a bad thing, but just acknowledging the way things are. And I'm thinking of the song "Good at Company" as an
Mhm.
example, where
Yeah.
you're pretty much saying, "Well, I'm not good at company, so if this is just the way it is, I'm not attempting to change it. I'm just acknowledging it."
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's not offering any solutions for people.
Which is actually kind of a relief, I would think.
Yeah.
So because in an age where there's a lot in the culture about um, yeah, trying to improve, live your best life, all those sorts of things. There's a lot of pressure actually
Yeah.
in trying to be someone you're not.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah. No, I think they're just saying this is what life can be like. Um,
Yeah.
but I've got no answers for you.
Which, look, well, maybe it's just me saying personally, I find it a relief because
Yeah,
I do think it can be exhausting looking around thinking, oh, I'm meant to
yeah,
change all
true.
these things and sort this stuff out. And then it's just actually, I think makes your songs more like vignettes. And so
Yeah,
they're stories in and of themselves.
yeah. No, that's a good way to think of it.
Well, that's good. Glad the interpretation holds up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, you recorded this album with Jake Holmes,
Yeah.
but he wasn't actually listed as the producer. It was listed as recording and mixing. So I'm wondering whether he acted as a co-producer. Was the band actually producing it?
Yeah, I think we kind of worked together. So he's got um like a portable setup. So we weren't actually in a studio. We did like we started in at Paddy, who's my brother who's on drums house, and then we were at Bob Harrow, who's in Immigrant Union's house. We're just taking who's got free house. And then we
Yeah.
head up to Monique, who is on keys, her place just outside of Dowsford. So it felt kind of there, like we're moving around a bit. And then yeah, Jake was like really good at directing us, but also like taking on what we kind of wanted to.
Mhm.
Um, it was like quite a drawn out process, but it was a nice process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it also feels like, despite some of the subject matter being quite heavy, there is a lightness to a lot of the music, and
Mhm.
some of it could even be said to be uplifting. And so I'm wondering whether the recording environments actually contributed to that.
Yeah, I felt like it was like, particularly when we headed up to the country, it was pretty nice. Um, and it did feel like because we were in a studio, sometimes I don't know if that any of them made the cut, but it did feel like outside noises were like seeping in, like we're hearing birds or we're hearing this. So
Yeah.
maybe subconsciously that went into the album too. Um, but yeah, we always joke that we're like, if you don't listen to the lyrics, we sound like we could be like a happy band, but some of the stuff's pretty dark.
Yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition, I've got to say, but it's
Yeah.
clearly a purposeful one because you know, these songs, as you said, you work them up with the band. So I'm also interested in whether there was a change from the time time you wrote, worked them up, and then recorded them, in a change in tone, actually, where you started out thinking it was going to be one sort of song, maybe even with a slightly different key, and then in the process, you're like, okay, no, this is where it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely was some like involvement in the songs, and it's funny, like I feel like all of them start with like really bad sounding voice notes on my phone, and I listen back and I'm like, oh, they've actually changed quite a bit. Um but yeah, and then I guess like we had like Jake do some pedal steel on like Everything's Wrong, and had a few extra things that popped up like instrumentally as well, um which yeah, made the songs totally different. I think like Everything's Wrong um was one where like, is this going to make the album? And then when the pedal steel was on, we're like, yeah, got it. Yeah.
Just a little extra element.
Yeah.
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 Now, you mentioned Bones, which Shaun mainly wrote and sung, and it's there. So it's an interesting. I'm singling it out because I love the production on it. For one thing, I wanted to
Mhm.
ask you about it, and because it starts out with Shaun singing, and it's quite stripped back, and it could have continued like that, and it would have been a more
Yeah.
stark song. But then on the second verse, these beautiful harmonies come in, and then it really starts to build out with the instruments. So I'm really curious about the decisions you made recording that song.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I think Sean always had a bit of a vision of how the song was going to be. Particularly we joke it's like his one chance to be on the to be the lead on the album. Um, but yeah, I think he had this idea because it's quite an old song of like what it was going to sound like, and we do kind of do it live, like that he starts and then we all come in. But then I think yeah, it definitely got more like instrumental in the recording process. Yeah, it's always like one of the crowd favorites, which Sean likes to rub in my face too. He's like, the one that I sing, everyone loves. And I'm like, well, I helped with it. No, but it is a good song.
It's a good song. The other songs are really good too. Maybe it's just because it's the one that he sings that
Yeah, yeah,
it's
stands
easy for
out.
people to point to and go, "Oh yeah, the dude is singing."
Yeah, yeah. There was a review the other day and it said Shaun Stolk's show-stopping vocals or something, so he's clinging on to that now too.
I'm curious whether the two of you at any time thought about doing a more traditional duet style on any of these songs.
Yeah, I've been thinking of that lately because on the last one we did have like a classic duet and we're partners and we live together and we have we have the opportunity to work more together. And I thinking like I don't know why it didn't pop up this time, but I yeah, recently have been like we should do another country duet. Um but yeah, I don't know why it didn't pop up for this one. Maybe I wanted to steal it all the glory.
Well, they're also your stories, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Your prerogative.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the voice memos, and obviously a lot of
Mhm.
songwriters do that because it's a very
Yeah.
handy way to record.
Yeah.
Given that you and Sean share a residence and lives,
Yeah.
do you play for him any of the early voice notes, or are these things that you just keep for yourself?
I think I kind of one like some of the voice notes are like something popped in my head and I listen back and I'm like, I don't even know what I've done here. But once I kind of like working on it a bit, I will show him. But I always get it's like that playing for one person sometimes like feels more embarrassing. So sometimes I get a bit embarrassed, but I will, yeah, often kind of share an idea with him and vice versa if he's got stuff that he's working on as well.
Yeah. So, given the very personal nature of these songs, and they are, as I said at the top there, it's a tender time listening to them.
Mhm.
When they were released in particular, did you feel like, okay, I'm actually going to let all of that go now, and it doesn't belong to me anymore, and we'll see what everyone makes of it. So, in a way, it was quite freeing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think like the whole process of writing it and then recording it has been um like what am I trying to say? Yeah, it feels like some of those experiences have passed and just even I think I've said this before, but like tomorrow's a new day. I'm mentioning am I ready for a child? And then now we have a child. And it feels like this real like movement through time. And now I can, yeah, some of those experiences are definitely like, oh yeah, yeah, it is freeing. Long-winded answer, but it is freeing. Yeah.
Yes, because I was listening to that thinking, yes, I think the child is now quite advanced.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
beyond,
yeah.
well beyond an idea.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because
Um,
sorry, go on.
oh
Please.
no, you go.
I was going to say, because at certain points I was thinking, Ruby's being very hard on herself in these lyrics.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I feel like um I'm like if we do the next album, is it just gonna be like all songs about like we have a baby now? Oh, and it's good, and sometimes it's hard, but yeah, it'll be
Sleepless
interesting.
nights and
Yeah,
crazy days.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But I think also one of the very real aspects of having a child in the household when you are
Mhm,
engaged in creative work is that it would change the rhythms of things. So
mhm.
whereas before, even though you're used to recording voice memos here and there, you may not have stretches of time in which to work up those songs. So I'm wondering if that's actually started, if you've been songwriting more since the album's been recorded, and you're finding that having a little person is somewhat impinging on that process.
Yeah, it's definitely made it harder. In some ways, I think I'm like go through phases of being really bad at listening to music. But I think having a baby has made it easier to listen to music because we're just putting it on and she's dancing to it, and that has been um good because that's kind of inspired me a bit, being like, oh, I want to write some more music and stuff. But the physically writing some music is hard because she'll just come up and like start touching the guitar and and that kind of thing. So um and then planning gigs and stuff has obviously been harder and stuff too, but I do have some motivation in me, so I need to jump on that, I think.
Yeah. Well, given that you're playing her music, does she have favorites that she's responding to?
We're saying that she's pretty, yeah, she doesn't really seem to have a taste at the moment. She seems to be dancing to everything,
Right.
which is good. But um, yeah, I don't know if anything's really stood out or if yeah, she seems to sway along to most things.
Well, this is your chance to form her taste,
That's
and you
it.
can. send her in whichever direction you want.
Exactly, yeah.
And you probably are also about to get very familiar with the Wiggles catalog.
That is true. Yes, yes. When there's been a few times I've put like kind of kid songs on and Sean's like, we've got tons of time for this. Put adult music on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's not going to know any different.
It's it. That's true. True.
Yeah. So you talked about gigs, and I know you had an album launch in September.
Yeah.
So that was at Shot Kickers in Thornbury, which is I've been to that venue. It's a great music
Yeah, it's
venue.
great. Yeah.
Are you, given that there are 6 of you and you're not all in the same place, so I would think rehearsal is a bit tricky to plan.
Yes. Yeah. Even before the launch, it was hard to get. Yeah, because we used to all. Well, yeah, a couple of us are in different spots and stuff now. So yeah, it's gotten even harder. And yeah, it used to be 4 of us. Now there's the 6 of us. We haven't been doing a lot lately, but we have a few things like a gigs that we've booked for January, and we've got this idea of it's 10 years of Team Love next year. So we want to organize something fun for that.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a very good opportunity. And
Yeah.
also, it's, as I said, this is a tying off of one part of your psyche, shall we say, as a songwriter, and then
Yeah,
you can move on to the fun phase, the sleepless nights and the crazy days.
that's it.
Well, Ruby, people can go and listen to this album, and I think they'll find a lot in it that it will be not necessarily confronting, but certainly thought-provoking, and actually that does lead me to another question, which is how have family members and friends reacted to this album?
Yeah, well,
As
my
in, like,
mum.
have there been some strong reactions?
Yeah. Well, my mum was saying the other day that she was listening to some of it with my uncle, and my uncle was like, "Is Ruby okay?" But yeah, I'm like, "I'm okay." Um, but yeah, no, that we've always been super lucky with our friends and family and how supportive they've been with music and coming to gigs and that kind of stuff. But I think that yeah, a lot of the songs that they feel sad about, they've been hearing for a while, so they'll probably some of them they'll prepared for for when they heard that album.
And I would think also you're okay because you've got this process that you
Yeah,
can use to
yeah,
sort out things that are going on.
yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah, it feels yeah, definitely cathartic, I think. Yeah.
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 Well, I'm going to leave it there so that people can go and listen to the album. And
Yeah.
as you said, there'll be shows in the new year, so hopefully they'll be on a website
Yes. Yeah, we'll
and your
pop that out
socials.
then. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.